it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, my pedigree chums, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast for Aston Villa versus Chelsea, or Chelsea versus Aston Villa, if you want to be pedantic about it. And I hope everybody had an absolutely great last few days because football is back, and I'm really, really looking forward to this game, and I'm looking forward to this team sheet as well. How are you doing, Paddy?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to football. It's strange only having one game on St. Stephen's Day, but it is what it is. This is how our brains trust decided to organise football this year and ruin people's tradition. So be it. But here we are on a Saturday. And we still can't get a 3 o'clock kickoff.
We still can't get a 3 o'clock kickoff, exactly. It's all just 100% to keep Amazon Prime out of the market. That's all that was. That's what that messing was on Stephen's Day. And they did it under the guise of trying to look after players, but it wasn't. Anyway, we don't need to go down that route now because Aston Villa, it doesn't really matter when we play. We just have to play Chelsea at some stage, and we're playing them today in Stamford Bridge. There's some curious photographs and curious kind of footage I've seen from some people who are gone down to London. There's some different types of trinkets for sale, I think, shall I say, outside the stadium, it seems to be. But that's neither here nor there. Villa will be going there to bring home the most important trinket of all, and that's 3 points. And Paddy, obviously, this win, if we were to win this, obviously sets us into another stratosphere. It keeps our winning run going. And looking at the comments there, I think it's fair to say everybody's kind of going. I don't know whether everybody has the fear after all the meat they've eaten over the last few days, or maybe there was a lot of cooking sherry you consumed yesterday, but consensus seems to be a draw would be a really, really good result today. And to be honest with you, I think a draw would be a great result because it keeps us above them and doesn't let them gain ground on us either, Paddy. But obviously, the win is what we're there for.
A win is what we're there for. I take a draw right now, and there's a few tantrums in the team sheet, so I suggest you get it on the screen and have a look.
I'm going to pop it up here. I won't, for whatever reason. I was there banging away the buttons, and it doesn't seem to want to share it. Let's try this way. Here we go. So we have Martinez in goals, Cash, Konza, Lindelof, Maatsen, Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, Buendia, Rogers, and Mallon. So no Ollie Watkins, no Onana, and no Luke Dean. But that's something that we've seen. He's been, I'm not going to say phased out of the team, but Maatsen has been keeping his place, and I think that's probably the correct call as well there. But I suppose the big one is Buendia in there, Mallon in there. What do you think, Paddy?
Yeah, well, look, I think the last fixture nailed on to be that Watkins is definitely carrying something. That opportunity he failed to even have a swipe at when he got it onto his left foot. He has to be hitting them. It's just a lack of confidence, injury, call it what you like, but it needed freshening up there. The midfield one I thought was a strange one. I probably would have preferred, this is just me being me, preferred Big Onana in there for a presence, but it looks like a very attacking team to me, and a team that he thinks can go and win the game. I don't think he's gone there for a draw by any means.
I don't think so either. So my big feeling about this team is Emi Buendia has been sensational for us this year when he's played, but he's been kind of rotated in and out of the team in recent weeks, and I think that's because there will always be, just because of his stature, he's and how he is on the ball. I think there's going to be games that'll be for him, and there'll be games that won't be for him. I think it's going to be interesting today if he's played on the left or if he's played through the centre. And I would expect him to be played through the centre, I would say, at the start. I'm just wondering if he's in there to essentially coax and we look to see if it is Caicedo and Fernandez or whoever it is. I'm wondering, is he going to be in there to kind of, number one, coax or keep Mallon honest and stay up top in between the centre halves? But is he going to be there to coax one of those two boys back and win fouls, win frees in that area? And try and or for that possession ball once again in that number 10 role. So he, for me, that's the player for me that I'm looking at this team and I'm going, he's in there for a tactical reason, and I don't quite know what it is yet, but it will all be apparent whether it works or not within the first 10 minutes. And that's the thing with Buendia. That's why he's been better coming off the benches. within the first 10 minutes of games, that's when you know whether Buendia is going to be is going to click and whether he's going to be there. And that's not a slighting him. That's not being against him or whatever the case is. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting he's in there from the off instead of Onana. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see what's the reason for him to be in there.
Yeah, and as Adam says in the comments, it's a very attacking Chelsea team that's out there. So we're going to need to be at our absolute best to keep them on the back foot. Maybe
what that Chelsea team is.
Maybe it's a kind of back Caicedo and Enzo up against the ball players of the likes of Tielemans in there. So yeah, there's arguments on both sides. Not a particularly big Chelsea side. Albeit there's no Emi Buendias in their team really.
Yeah, no, look, I don't hold the same revere to a lot of the players on that Chelsea team as a lot of people do. I just don't. Like Reece James is probably the best. For me, Reece James and Cole Palmer are the best players in that team, but that's not news to anyone. Garnacho. I know Garnacho scores goals against Aston Villa, and he always plays his 10 out of 10 game against Aston Villa. Garnacho is wasting. Like, he's not reaching his potential currently at this moment in time. Pedro Neto has lost, for me, has lost a bit of pace, but Maresca gets a massive tune out of him. Caicedo and Enzo in there. Everybody knows I'm not even going to mention Cucurella because everybody that's watched this podcast before knows I couldn't have him in my team. I couldn't have him in the Villa team. He would drive me spare. Much and all as people love him, he would drive me insane because his positional discipline is outrageously poor for a player and it never gets brought up. And I think, look, if he's going to be playing on that, what side he'll be playing on that left-hand side. If he's going to be playing on that left-hand side, well, maybe McGinn will go and try and run him ragged down there, try and keep him in that position, try and push him back and see what the story is there. But it's interesting. Like they're very, very good players. There's just like some of the players are like they're good players, and Maresca's getting a great tune out of them. They're just like they're not players I would want in my Aston Villa team. Put it that way. Just because of positional and tactical fits and stuff like that. Like you even look at the bench there. They've got some really great players. Obviously, they've got Estevao, Gittins, Delap, Andre Santos, Gusto, all those guys, and Wesley Fofana is back on the bench as well. Obviously, superb defender. They've got talent dripping in that team. Maresca should be getting a better tune out of these guys than he is. I think they're underperforming, and I hope they continue to underperform today.
Well, I think we're all hoping that they underperform today, but it is a strong side. I don't think they've played as a collective unit on a regular basis. There's a few players in there capable of giving away yellow cards. But we've got to be really careful with ours too, because we've one match left to save Kamara and Cash from a ban. So it worries me, Garnacho up against Cash, because he has had his number in the past. Not particularly worried about him as a player, but don't give him an inch because he will punish you 100%. João Pedro has had a decent enough season for them. So it is only right that we worry about what he's capable of. Cole Palmer, we know exactly what he's capable of. And as you correctly say, Neto probably not as good as he was. But then again, looking at that, there's loads of opportunities there to change it. So they have a strong enough bench capable of doing a job on us.
João Pedro's an interesting one as well for me. I loved João Pedro at Watford. Loved him at Watford. Didn't particularly like him at Brighton. I don't know. It was like I don't know what it is. Like there's no discernible reason or weakness in his game. Obviously, we've seen him. He's hit the ground running with Chelsea. He's been outstanding. But something like his demeanor has changed, and it just kind of rubs me up the wrong way with him, or something along those lines. I don't know. Kind of like when Richarlison first came to the Premier League, and everything was going great, and then he got this chip in his shoulder. I don't know where it is, but absolutely, João Pedro is somebody I want. Like Lindelof is going to need to keep that half a yard in his pocket to be able to deal with João Pedro today, because João Pedro, like they will want to put Lindelof. Villa will want to do it as well. They will want João Pedro on or Lindelof to take João Pedro at some stage today. And that's we need Lindelof to play to the levels he's played over the last few games, and probably even better again. To keep up those performances, because as you see, João Pedro can be a bit of a bully. He can start he can start to smell blood in the water, and when he does, he can score goals in bunches as well. So another player that Villa need to look after. And look, we haven't even talked really about Cole Palmer. I mentioned that just the two English lads are the two probably best players in that team. Cole Palmer is somebody that's going to need to be marshaled on the other side as well. So it's even through the centre, it's going to be an extremely difficult job. Villa will have to be on their game today, and I think as well, Paddy, probably more. I'm thinking about it here now that Villa will. It will need to be a good start, I think, for Villa here to kind of put doubt in the mind. But then again, we don't do that when we're away from home. We stick in, we make it dirty, we try and feel the other team out, and then we try and pounce after the 60th minute when we're away from home. So it's going to be an interesting watch today, I think, for sure.
Yeah, and you look, it's absolutely vital that we don't do anything stupid early on or give away goals for sure, which we have done in the last couple of games. But like I genuinely worry about João Pedro. Like the João Pedro of 2 years ago was scoring a goal every 2 games. He's well capable of doing that. He hasn't quite hit the heights this season, but then again, he scored 9 goals in 25 appearances. That is not bad, and it's better than our striker. So we just got to be careful. There's a number of matchups there that need to be really solid. And we've just got to be on our game. It's just as simple as that. It feels a little bit like a free hit, and I know Dean Smith hated us saying that, but I just feel right now, in the here and now, I'd take a point out of this and
me too.
Stick it in the back pocket and move on. I wasn't thinking that way all day. It's just looking at the teams and looking at the setup and taking into the factor you've got Stuart Atwell, you're away from home at one of the greedy 6. We've seen what the PGMOL did today and yesterday with Manchester United and with Manchester City. And it doesn't bring me with confidence that we're going to get a fair ride here today, either from the referees or from VAR. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens on that. But we'll control what we can control, and that's put in a performance from 1 to 11 and make sure that we leave nothing to chance. He's gone with this team. I'm expecting a powerhouse performance from Malin today. He's been given a big opportunity in a big game. Go and nail down your spot, and nail it down into midweek when you play against a team that let you go as a kid. So it's a big week for Malin and his career, and I really, really hope he pushes on and gets a few goals for us that haven't been coming from the strike force.
Absolutely. One area, I suppose, for this team, this Chelsea team that we're looking at it here, and I'm just seeing it in the comments there as well, the 2 centre halves, they're gettable. You can get at them. Trevor Chalobah, they're not bad players, again, don't get me wrong. They're certainly not, but they're not Wesley Fofana, and they're not what's the other lad? Levi Colwell. I think that they're probably their 2 starting centre halves when everyone's fit, I would imagine. And that's the thing that brings me hope. You catch Trevor. Like, I like Trevor Chalobah, but I always get this feeling when I watch him play that in the first 5 minutes he could slip and let a defender in behind, or let a striker in behind him. It doesn't happen that often, but it always feels like he makes a mistake in a game. The statistics don't back it up, but it's something that we like. He's been their best centre half so far this season. Like I think I read somewhere earlier on. But I think the Villa will look to kind of go at the 2 of them early, and Malin moving them around the place might be the thing to do. But once again, look, I'm expecting this to be a boring one. I'm expecting, like you mentioned, about a point. Getting a point in this game is as good as anything, because these are our direct rivals currently at the moment for a top 3 position, top 4 position. And by getting a point, yes, we will have lost ground on United that are behind us, and yes, we will probably lose ground on Liverpool and whoever else is playing. But we need to finish ahead of one of those teams. One of those 3 teams: Chelsea, United, Liverpool. We need to finish ahead of one of those currently at this moment in time, and keeping that buffer zone to Chelsea with a draw today would be very, very palatable, I think. and specifically for Unai Emery. Then you go into the Arsenal game, see what comes from that. Because look, I'll say it again, it's not about looking at Man City and Arsenal currently. It isn't, and Unai Emery isn't looking at them. It is. It's about solidifying our position and trying to get to a Champions League position as quick as possible. I really think that's the remit from the pen pushers, from the guys with the abacuses, the money men, and I think it's for Unai Emery too. I think that is what the remit is, and today is a big step in that, stepping stone towards that.
Yeah, and look, I do believe we're wrong to be ruling ourselves out of a title hunt, given where we are at the moment. If we go and lose the next 2 games, fair enough. We know we've a little bit left to do, but we've put ourselves in this position that we're third in the league. We'll be guaranteed third of the league at the turn of the year. So why not dream? Why not take every game in isolation and go and try and win them? And I have no doubt in my mind that team is set up to go and try and win this game. I just, the more you look at it, the more you feel there's a lot going on. I think if we could just get them to play a high line, I think that would suit us down to the ground. It doesn't generally, just from the naked eye, no stats to back it up, it doesn't generally play as a high line for Chelsea. But I think if we could draw them out and leave that space in behind, I think there's an awful lot there for us to exploit. And the pace of Marlon would definitely exploit it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why he's in there. I think that is exactly why he's in there. Emi Buendia through balls. He's brilliant at them. He really is. It's his biggest weapon in his arsenal. He's been able to play deft touches of passes. Yes, do they not always go to the person that you want them to go? Absolutely. But you only need one, to connect with somebody like Marlon. Marlon is a shoot on sight type guy, and he will take those snapshots. So that's probably part of the tactic here. John McGinn's going to work his nuts off, and we're hoping that we get maybe a Morgan Rogers matched up with Reece James, gets him turned inside out at some stage, which is difficult to do with James, and then maybe pings one in from outside the box as well. Mr. Unsustainable for Unsustainable FC, and that would do nicely today. I'm getting pinged. I was just looking at that there. Chelsea Media messed up our crest in the team sheet.
I had to go back in and have a look.
Yeah, I'm getting pinged here. I might have to run away, guys, because I'm just being asked to do something. So I might need to run away unexpectedly. But I'm going to go for I'm going to go for 2-2 draw in this one. I'll go for goals. It's not going to be 2-2 after 8 minutes like it was in the Celtic game today. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, I think, today.
As time goes on, I'm getting a bit more optimistic, so I'm going to go with a 2-1 win.
Brilliant. I'm glad one of us did. I really am. I'm going to stick with my 2-2. But I'm really sorry, guys, abruptly to end the podcast. Or Paddy, can you stay on? Do you want to stay on and do the roundup of the goals?
I'll stay on and do a roundup if you like. Yeah, no
perfect.
problem at all.
I got a roll. I will be back on for the post-match podcast though, and hopefully we'll be talking about a Villa win. But we will chat to you later on, guys.
Well, hello. Let's run through the roundup and see what we have here. Micah Richards is going for 2-2. Our friend Noel Connaughton is saying, do not concede early. Absolutely. It's going to make the job much, much harder if we do. Richard Burton is going for 2-1 Villa. Stevie's going for 1-1. John Steele is going for 3-2 to Villa. Real Villa is going 1-1. Junior is going 1-1. Jake is going for a cheeky 2-1 win, a winner from Sancho. Oh, I'd say you'd enjoy that. I'd say we could see him spring from the bench, definitely. Philly Davidson is going for 1-1. Matt is going for 3-2 Villa, Rogers, Tielemans, and Buendia. Daniel is going for a 0-0. Flange is with me, 2-1 Villa. Kylie, hope you're well, 2-0 Villa. Sniff Rat is going 2-2. User PD 1874 is going 2-1 Villa. Kevin Donnelly is going 2-2. Kevin Genus is going 2-1 Villa. Bakeswell is going 3-2. Black Country Villain is going 1-1. Osgerm is going for a 3-1 loss. You're absolutely entitled to that too. I hope you're wrong, by the way. Ross Buchanan's going 1-0 Villa. Mark Brannigan is going 3-1 Villa. Audrey is going for hanging on for a 1-0 win. Yeah, I'll take it all day long. Stephen Dunn is going 3-1. And the final one is Nobby Wright, who says 1-1, but you just know PGOMOL will stuff us with yellow cards for Arsenal. Yes, probably. Yes, probably. We did allude to that earlier on. Couple more in there. Dougie is going 1-0 Villa and Malin goal. Johnny is going a 0-0. Steve is going 2-1, and we'll end on the positive note of a 3-1 win from 2Cash666. Or there's another positive one in there, 2-1 to Villa from MX. But get yourself together, get ready for the match. I don't know if I've got an outro here because Neil has jumped off and it's not there. Give me a second now and I'll see if I can find it. I have it. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Thanks very much for listening in. Much appreciated. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas. Fingers crossed for 3 points, but don't be too upset. We're in a great place. Get yourself relaxed and ready and enjoy the match. And all that's left to say is up to Villa.